guys, welcome back to the wonderful world of Faith with a Few. Today's video is going to be about Gideon, and not only Gideon but somebody in Gideon's life who we don't always talk about whenever we preach about Gideon. We don't always share this person's story, but they actually played a very big and quite transformational part in Gideon's life. And that's Gideon's homeboy, his brethren, his Cody, his ride or die, his man of the hour was a guy called Purah. So it's spelled P-U-R-A-H, but it's pronounced Purah. So for a bit of context, if we go back down to the book of Judges 7, when Gideon is getting ready to attack, and God sends him forward and says, you need to go and spy out a lot of something in the enemy's camp, just to spy out, see what you're dealing with, and then come back. Gideon is still in this kind of mindset of not being good enough, of being scared and stuff. And so God says something to him very important in Judges 7. So I'll read from verse 11. And so God says to him in Judges 7 verse 11, if you are afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your servant Purah and listen to what they are saying. Afterwards, you will be encouraged to attack the camp. And God had basically said, if you don't trust what I'm saying to you, go with somebody else that you trust, which happened to be his servant called Purah. Some biblical scholars say that how Purah was an older man, somebody that was a mentor to Gideon. Other people just said he was a servant, but we go on what the text says. The text says that he was a servant. And so God says, if you don't really have the confidence, even despite the fact I'm telling you, you will win this battle, why don't you go down to that camp with somebody that you trust, somebody that you think is faithful, which is your servant, Purah. And so by going down with Purah, he will give you the courage and the confidence to walk in what it is I've called you to do. And afterwards, you're going to go to the camp and you're going to hear something that will encourage you. And my question for you guys today is this. Who is the Purah in your life? The Purah is the person who has your back. The Purah is the person who you can trust their counsel, you can trust what they're saying. The Purah is the person who is side by side with you as you're fulfilling your mandate, fulfilling purpose, you're fulfilling destiny. Your Purah is the person that God will give in your life to almost be the person that confirms what God is saying. That was who Purah was for Gideon. Purah for me are the people in my life that I'm accountable to, that I'm responsible to, I'm responsible with. The Purahs in my life are the people that I'm accountable to, but also the people that believe in my vision and do what they need to do to help me get there. And likewise me for them. They're the people who don't see me as a person, but they see what God is calling me to. And they attach themselves to God's destiny. And I just so happen to be the conduit of the vessel through which he'll perform his word. And they are the Purahs in your life, the people that see where God is taking you. And they cherish the word that God has given you. And they want to do everything they can to see that come to pass. Those are the Purahs. Purah is the person, they see your gift, they see where God's called you, they see what God has placed in you, and they see that it's bigger than you, so they will not let you step out of line of it. Interestingly enough, if you translate the word Purah in the Hebrew and you translate it back to English, it means foliage, like plants and whatnot. And that speaks of a covering, something that is with you, that life, greenery, freshness, fresh breath of air, but also covering, that they can hide you when you need to be covered as well. That is what a Purah does for you. So look out for those guys who have your back. So what happened? So like we know, so obviously for 7 years, God gave Israel over to the hands of the Midianites. Interestingly enough, if you go back into early books of Genesis, when we're talking about Abraham and his wives and Keturah and all these people that he had, Midian is actually a descendant of Abraham. I think Midian, don't quote me, I might need to do another video on this, but Midian is the son of Abraham's fourth wife. I think it's Keturah actually, but don't quote me. I studied this before, and it was about a word that the Holy Spirit really shared to me about what to do when your seed attacks your promise. And even though, Isaac was the promise, Midian was still the seed, and the Midianites were still enemies of Israel. You like that? But yeah, seed and attacking the promise, that's another video. But God had given Israel into the hands of the Midianites, almost as a kind of punishment. But Gideon was the person who was called at his appointed time to change that status quo, to flip the script and to change what was going on in Israel and to finally bring victory. Israel was scared. Israel were hiding in caves. They were hiding in every nook and cranny. They feared the Midianites. And God had called Gideon, the mighty warrior, to be the person to change it. But Gideon had no confidence in himself. He had no confidence in what he was called to do. That's why God said, you know what? Even if you don't believe what I'm saying, go with Purah. Purah will be the person that when he hears it too, number one, the testimony of two is true. But then number two, Purah can also encourage you to do what it is that you've been called to do. We hear in Chronicles 7 later that when they went down to the camp, the Midianites were scared of Gideon because they had heard about him in the streets. Purah was the person that, because he was with Gideon, Gideon actually, You know, Purah was always the friend that was a reminder of God's presence in their life. You know how you've got that one friend who you're going through something and they're the ones that are speaking words of life. They're the ones that are speaking words of peace. They're the ones that are praying with you. And in many ways on earth, even though we have the Holy Spirit within us, you know, and Jesus lives to make intercession for us, and God keeps his eye on us, you know, he doesn't sleep nor slumber. God also gives us people on earth who are almost like a reminder of his presence in our life, who are like a reminder of his faithfulness in our life by our sides. But for me, it was just interesting how Gideon, despite the fact he had heard from God, he still needed the encouragement of his friend, of his servant, as they call him in the Bible, of the person that was, you know, his ride or die, and that was Purah. And in life, like I said at the beginning, who is your Purah? If you haven't got a Purah, somebody that, you know, God could almost speak to on your behalf, God can use to encourage you. God can use to, you know, kind of go hand in hand. The Bible says that two are better than one because they have a greater reward for their labor. You know, who is that person that is by your side when you're going through the things of life? Who is your Purah in that sense? So I just wanted to make this a real quick video just to really challenge you to look at the people that are around you in your life. I did the other video about the 5 kinds of people you need in your life. A Purah fits into that because they're also a challenger. They're also an inspirer. They're also a protagonist. They're also, they can be a hater, but you don't want them to be. But most importantly, they're also a cheerleader. So, you know, look around at the people you've got in your life and who's the Purahs that you have. Who are the people that, you know, God almost uses to reconfirm his word in your life, to reconfirm what he's doing, to speak a word in season in your life. If you've got Purahs around you, do not neglect them. You know, love on them, appreciate them, let them know that you appreciate the fact that they're in your life. You know, I always let my girlfriends know how much I appreciate the fact that they've been with me through ups and downs, circles, roundabouts, swings, all of it. And I always appreciate the fact that they're still there. And so, you know, it's just nice to know that you're not taken for granted and they're not taken for granted as well. So yeah, if in doubt, look for a Purah and God will confirm his word through a Purah. If you do not believe, God will send a Purah and he will confirm his word. The testimony of 2 is true. Right guys, I'll see you in the next video and I hope you've enjoyed that. Like I said before, any comments, anything you want me to talk about, put comments in the box below. And if not, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!